Good morning, Randall. How's it going? So I spent a little bit of time today just poking around, refining things from yesterday's session. And though I don't think it's quite finished yet, I'm really, really excited about where it's heading. The main thing that I've been trying to do is break out of this repeating A section. And I am going to revisit some ideas for a B section that I forgot about. There was that massive writing session that I had the other day that a bunch of different things came out. It was geared more towards the battle theme, but I really loved our conversation about incorporating reoccurring themes and reimagining those themes. So there's a theme in that I would love to see if I could bring in here. The other thing I was trying to wrestle in was bringing in the ATF motif here, which I'll play that after the fact, but here's what I have so far regarding, the bones of the track. I'm pretty stoked on this. Yeah, so I think it's really epic. I think it's perfect for the vibe of just the whole Volcano aesthetic, right? And I really like the buildup of everything. I like how things are very spacious here in the beginning and then start to build and build and build and build. And I think this is a good, first half. I mean, this could be a long track, but I'm willing to explore it because I think it's going to be really, really cool. I just feel like if it keeps repeating like this, it's going to get boring. So I wanted to add something new to the palette here and inject a little bit of a different flavor. And I'm going to be doing that later today. But while I have you here, just explore some of the things that are going on. You might notice some woodwinds. They're pretty overpowering right now. Right. I might dial that back in the mix a little bit, but I think it's a really good addition. Some bells. Got sleigh bells. We've got church bells. That's right. I forgot about that. Accentuated by a little bit of percussion. Wait, timpani. I feel like I want to find a way to increase the reverb tail of the timpani. Wonder if I can just... Yeah, same length. So I'll work on that later. What else do we have going on here? There's a lot of exploration. I mean, I think the addition of these voices is great. Gives a very kind of chant-like quality to things. Just following the chord progression. Nothing too crazy. And then I tweaked the drums here a little bit, but I do want to explore a tiny bit more of that if I have time, just to kind of give it a bit more life. I mean, pretty much it's the same exact thing throughout here with a slight variation here. Like literally that dun 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 is the different thing that I did. And like one little thing here, I think. Dun, dun. So I do want to explore a little bit of variation within the drums here and there, just to kind of keep that hypnotic vibe, but also just kind of have some nice subliminal variety injected into the ears of the listener. So it's probably not something that they're going to notice, but hopefully it's going to be something that they feel. That's the goal with everything today. And while I have you, here is an idea. This main melody right here, personified by the plucked viola. This is meant to be the voice of the protagonist. It's less scary sounding compared to everything that's going on around it, right? So again, it's meant to be a personification of this idea of like you the protagonist are going into the dungeon, and like I said in the previous video, it's kind of like you telling yourself to steel yourself, to remain steadfast, to stay the course. And then as you go deeper and deeper, the strings get heavier. Let's see if you can hear what I'm talking about. So things are a little ominous, a little tense here. And then things intensify even more with the addition of a higher melody and even lower strings to sound even more sinister. So we have this. All the while, that little voice of the protagonist is just getting louder. So it starts off kind of like, a little bit mousy. So that's why I chose plucked cello and viola for that. But then as things progress, things open up and go into that choir voice that, gets used all over the place in all the stuff that I'm doing. Let's hear that real quick. So that's the initial idea. And then the thing that I'm kind of having a wrestling match with right now is taking that idea and combining it with the Adventure to Fate motif, TM, seeing if they can play nicely together. So I took that exact same section and just decided to do everything the same, except this time add in the motif. Let's hear the motif on its own real quick, just to refresh our memory. So now bringing that back in with everything. I'm not sure how I feel about it, to be honest. Like I like the idea in theory, like the idea of trying to blend the two to see if it works, but I might just try to take the motif on its own and mess with it even more, just to kind of be its own thing. It could be cool if I just incorporate it into the B section that I write later. So we'll see on that. But at any rate, that's where I'm at so far. I want to try to get you a bounce of this as soon as possible so you can test with it. But I need to make sure that B section is done and then make sure all of this plays nicely together. But let me know what you think so far. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.